CRØ Winery, we source all of our wines from the Central Coast, but we love the Madera area. Our founders are from this area, and they wanted to create a winery within Madera and Fresno area to share the wines that they were producing from throughout California with their friends in this area. And after creating the winery and sharing it with friends, the wines were so popular that they knew that they wanted to share it with more people, and that's when we began to get distribution across the state and now across the country and in a few different countries as well. I'm Rebecca Gilbert. I am the Senior Director of Marketing and Communications at CRØ Winery. We focus on the Central Coast, and we work with vineyards and growers as far north as the Santa Cruz Mountains and as far south as Santa Maria Valley, which is in Santa Barbara County. In addition to the CRØ Winery tasting room that we have in Madera and in the Central Valley, we also have a tasting room in Monterey County, which is located on the Santa Lucia Highlands, which is a beautiful wine growing region just south of Monterey proper, but it gets that lovely cool coastal influence and wind throughout the day that is perfect for Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. Our team here is led by our winemaker, Jose. Jose has been with the winery for over 15 years and has about 30 years of experience crafting wines from the Central Coast. Then we also have Melissa Smith, who is our cellar master. She's our production manager. She is also a winemaker, and she really heads up the team as far as making sure that everything is moving smoothly.
Hi, my name is Melissa Smith. I am the production manager here at CRØ. We like to keep the case goods and wine stored at ultimate temperatures. Wine does not like to change temperatures very often, so we try to keep the temperature the same all year round. About 98% of our wine does see barrel. We do have a program that's called Unoaked Chardonnay, so that's all stainless steel. So ultimately, over here is where all the magic happens, the fermentations. Over here you can see we have a variety of different sized tanks. Tamara's talking about events and such. So we do host the events outside, and we do it earlier in the year to make sure that we have very pleasant weather for all our wine club members. So as you come into our barrel storage, you can notice that we have full and empty barrels in here. You can get a lot of information at the front of the barrel or the barrel head. It will tell you the cooper's name, what year it's produced, and then whether it's French oak. Probably 99% of our oak is French.
We submit our wines mainly to wine enthusiasts. They receive over 25,000 wines a year to score. And at CRØ Winery, we are known for receiving 90+ point scores. Anything over 90 points with wine enthusiast is considered excellent. Anything over 94 is considered superb.
My favorite part of our wine tastings, lots of really awesome Pinot Noirs and Chardonnays. My personal favorite is probably our Regan Vineyard Pinot Noir. It has a really awesome story behind it. It's our first Pinot from the Santa Cruz Mountains, so it's really special to us, and it's just a really juicy, vibrant California Pinot. It's been a fan favorite, hasn't even been out for a full year yet, and it's just doing really well for us. My name is Tamara Retton. I'm the tasting room manager at our Madera, California location. We pour lots of tastings, specialty events that we have, specialty tastings, lots of parties for our club members that the general public are welcome to attend as well. As a wine club member, you do get 20% off all of your purchases, first access to any new releases. We also have members only events. Our Founders Club gets one specific event every year just for them, very exclusive.
One of the things that you really want to do when you come to wineries is taste wine. So we are going to go through our single vineyard tasting today and taste through the wines together, tell you a little bit about the wines and some of the notes that we're getting in them as well. So we'll start off with our Bien Nacido Chardonnay. This is our 2021 vintage. The first vintage that we produced was 2020. This vineyard is in Santa Maria Valley, down by Santa Barbara. And Bien Nacido Vineyard is one of the most, I would say, acclaimed, famous vineyards in all of California. It is consistently written about, and several different producers make wines from the Bien Nacido Vineyard.
So a lot of times I talk to customers when we do wine tasting is to close your eyes and walk through the produce section. And so that helps bring out a lot of the fruits in the back of your brain. The other thing that helps to bring up the smells of the wine is to give it a vigorous swirl to get all the aromas coming into the glass. So you definitely get hints of that beautiful oak.
Some like pear on there, like a little bit of almost like apple, but more of the yellow apple.
And so when you taste it, you're gonna get not only the flavor of the wine, but also what we call mouthfeel. The very first whack in your mouth, and it's usually the fruit, and then you slowly slip into the middle, which gives it that kind of creamy, soft flavor.
It's kind of round and almost like fills your entire palate too.
I know the other fun thing of when I do wine tasting is food pairing. I think what I would probably pair with this is maybe like shrimp scampi with maybe kind of an oil lemon, slight rosemary sauce.
Really bring out those citrus flavors that you get in the wine. So next we'll move on to the Sierra Madre Chardonnay. This is also from Santa Maria Valley. The vineyard is actually one of the oldest vineyards in California. Similar with the Bien Nacido Vineyard, also has several different wineries who are crafting Chardonnay and Pinot Noir from it. Do notice that it's a little bit darker than the Bien Nacido, and I know that this one spends a little bit more time in oak to give it a bigger, creamier mouthfeel. Is that why it's also looking a little bit darker as well?
Yes, so some grapes will develop a yellower color as well as how it was aged. I've known Chardonnays to be aged for 10 years before being released, and you can imagine the color of those.
Yeah.
Beautiful hay honey colors. The majority of our wines, especially if they get aged in oak, go through what's called a secondary fermentation. The secondary fermentation is the conversion of malic acid into lactic acid. So malic acid is like green apple acid. So if you bite into a green apple, you get that acidic bite to it. And then lactic acid is like a milk acid. So it's soft, creamy. So depending on the wine, especially whites, if it goes 50% or 100%, it really accentuates the creaminess that you get from the barrels.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to our red wines now and taste through our Sierra Madre Pinot. So just like the Sierra Madre Chardonnay, this wine is also from the Sierra Madre Vineyard. Again, one of the oldest vineyards in California and in Santa Maria Valley. It is a beautiful, cool climate vineyard. We're seeing a lot of fog there, wind. It is very close to the ocean, so a nice coastal influence. Chardonnay and Pinot Noir love cool weather, so they really thrive in those vineyards that constantly have that nice, cool coastal influence.
Through the Pinots, I know you will definitely see different hues of red, depending on, you know, which vineyard it comes from.
It almost reminds me when you say spiced apple and smelling it, like almost like holiday time a little bit, you know, when you walk into the house and it smells like this amazing, you know, a combination of baking and spices, and yeah, it's got a beautiful nose to it. You can kind of play on those berry cherry flavors too with like a grilled pork chop, and maybe you have like some, like a berry topping or something like that.
Like a sauce, like a reduction.
Berry sauce. So the next one that we're tasting is our Solomon Hills Vineyard Pinot Noir. This one is also from Santa Maria Valley, and they've got different soils, they've got different exposures, and you're really kind of seeing those differences come through when you're tasting them.
You can also notice right off the bat that the color is very different. It kind of has a little bit more orange to it.
And I know sometimes people talk about how Pinot is a really light wine and not to pair it with red meat.
Putting Pinots all in a box is really hard because, you know, depending on the vineyard and the winemaking, it can get really big and really robust. You get the big fruit in the front, that currant, a little bit of black tea, a little bit of that briar, you know, wrapped up in that nice tannin that will really stand up against the heavy red meats. And then as you move through towards the finish, you kind of go into that toasty oak.
Absolutely. Our last wine on the single vineyard flight is our Regan Vineyards Pinot Noir. So we're gonna go north to Santa Cruz Mountains, to the Bargetto Winery and to Regan Vineyards. So this 2021 is our very first release from this vineyard.
Almost looks like a ruby, like a light ruby.
If you've been to the Santa Cruz Mountains, you know that they also get very impacted by fog, and this is kind of on a little hilly knoll, so it definitely gets kind of that fog that sits down in there, and just make sure that this vineyard has a nice, long, cool growing season, which we love for Chardonnay and Pinot Noir because it brings out a ton of great flavors in the grapes.
Oh, this smells gorgeous. And you can definitely tell like the cooler weather from the hotter weather vineyards, the way this is, has more of those bright, dark berries flavors right up front.
You know, I think all of our wines are crafted for, we say that they're crafted for quality everyday drinking, which they definitely are, but they're also wines that are really great for special occasions. And I know for me, the Solomon Hills and the Regan Vineyards are two of my favorites to also bring to like Thanksgiving dinner, because they just pair so beautifully with all the different things on the table too. And everyone loves them, so it's great.